By Friday, my sister's patience had finally worn thin. Congrats. You blew it. The one chance to never work another night shift. To give our kids the life we never had, all gone because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. I stare at the framed photos on my father's mahogany desk, the soft hum of the office air conditioning my only company. 2 decades ago, our family squeezed into a cramped 2-bedroom apartment. Today, my father runs one of Seattle's fastest-growing tech companies. His journey from that tiny space to this office has instilled in me lessons about money, trust, and survival that will last a lifetime. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Brianna. Missing you, rough shift in the ER. I feel a pang in my chest. How did things get so complicated? I still remember the first time I saw her. She was in scrubs, dark circles under her eyes from another overnight shift. But despite her exhaustion, her laugh lit up the entire coffee shop. I remember fumbling my order, and before I knew it, we were deep in conversation about everything and nothing. No pretenses, no agendas, a rare thing in my world of networking and business deals. You're different, she told me on our 3rd date. Most guys in suits look down on nurses. She didn't ask about my job or my family's company. Instead, she shared stories about her patients, her voice filled with both compassion and strength. For the first time in a long while, I found myself opening up, talking about things I usually kept to myself. Memories of watching my mom count pennies at the grocery store, of wearing secondhand clothes to school. 2.5 years flew by. Weekend getaways turned into us moving in together. Her scrubs mingled with my suits in the laundry, and we built our routines. Inside jokes, shared glances, and gestures that spoke louder than words. When I proposed last spring, her eyes welled up before I even finished the question. God, you're such a planner, she laughed, happy tears streaming down her face as she examined the ring. But I love you for it. Planning, protection, prudence. The words echoed in my mind as I paced back and forth in the office. These were the principles that had helped my family escape poverty. My decision to pursue an MBA, to learn every aspect of the business world, was all part of the plan despite my father's influence. But why did my throat tighten when it came time to discuss the prenup? A prenuptial agreement? Brianna's voice cracked as we chopped vegetables together one night, the smell of dinner filling the air. Where is this coming from? It's standard practice, especially in my position, I explained, but the words felt empty. Your father's board of directors, she said, setting down her knife. I thought we were building a life together, not merging corporations. We are, I replied quickly, trying to reassure her. This doesn't change anything between us, doesn't it? She turned toward me, her eyes searching mine. Tell me honestly, did you think I was after your money when we met? No, I said immediately, but I could see her point. Because that's what this feels like. It suggests that deep down, you think I might be playing some long con. That our entire relationship needs a safety net. The silence between us felt vast, like a chasm. Outside, the rain drummed against the window, a steady Seattle rhythm that usually comforted me. But now, it only served to heighten the tension in the room. I love you, I said finally, the words heavy in the air. This isn't about trust. It's about being practical. Bull, she replied, shaking her head. Love isn't practical, Carl. Neither is marriage. It's a leap of faith. Her voice wavered as she wiped her eyes. If you need a contract to take that leap with me, what does that say about us? The vegetables we'd been preparing sat forgotten on the cutting board. The meal we'd planned to cook together slowly growing cold. Eventually, Brianna went to bed early, claiming a headache. I stayed up late, my mind racing through articles on relationship statistics and asset protection, hoping to find some solution. A week passed. Then, too, the prenup hung between us like an invisible wall, and Brianna became more distant, quieter. I found her staring at her engagement ring, her face marked with uncertainty. My father's voice echoed in my mind, Trust is earned, son. But verify everything. That's the principle on which he built his empire. But now, watching Brianna's pain, seeing the doubt clouding the eyes of the woman I thought I'd spend forever with, his advice suddenly felt less wise. Yesterday, I made a choice. I told Brianna I was letting go of the prenup idea. The relief on her face was immediate, her arms wrapping tightly around me as she whispered, "Thank you," against my neck. We ordered takeout and watched movies, just like we used to. But now, here I am, standing in my father's office, staring at the photos of his success, feeling a knot in my stomach. The conversation about the prenup had revealed cracks I hadn't noticed before, questions that now seem impossible to ignore. Why did the idea upset her so much? Why does my instinct to protect myself feel both right and wrong? I love her. I trust her. I want a future with her. Yet for the first time since meeting Brianna, fear creeps in. Brianna here, lying beside Carl in bed, counting his steady breaths. His arm rests across my waist, so trusting, so vulnerable. The moonlight catches the 2-carat cushion-cut engagement ring on my finger, the one the girls at work couldn't stop fawning over when I wore it to my shift. I roll onto my side, studying Carl's face. He's handsome in that polished, clean-cut way. Perfect smile, expensive haircuts, tailored suits. Everything about him screams old money, though he loves telling anyone who'll listen about his family's humble beginnings, as if driving a second-hand car to a private school counts as struggling. My phone lights up 3 a.m., another sleepless night since he brought up that prenup. The memory makes my jaw tighten. All my careful planning, all the steps we took toward building a perfect future, nearly unraveled in a single conversation. "It's standard practice," he said, like we were discussing a business deal, not the future of our marriage. I tightened my grip around the ring. Standard practice. For 2 years, I've worked to make Carl forget I'm not like the other women in his circle. I've played the part of the devoted nurse, listening to his work stories, laughing at his father's boring jokes at charity events. But I didn't spend my 20s working double shifts in the ER just to end up counting pennies for the rest of my life. When Carl walked into that coffee shop, I saw the watch on his wrist before his face. A Patek Philippe, worth more than my car. But I kept my focus on him, playing the role of a girl too dedicated to saving lives to care about designer labels. "You're different," I told him early on. Men like Carl eat that up, the idea that they're not like the other rich guys. I let him teach me about wine, acted impressed when he talked about investment strategies, all while taking careful notes on his family's connections, his position in the company, his trust fund. The mattress shifts as Carl turns over, and I can't stop the tears from flowing. He doesn't see them. They've come easily ever since our fight about the prenup. "How could you think I'm after your money?" My voice cracked, but the pain was real. 2 years of carefully crafted memories rushed through my mind. Surprise picnics, handwritten love notes, midnight hospital visits with coffee when he worked late, a master class in devotion. His face crumpled. "This isn't about trust," he stammered, but I could see the doubt in his eyes. The same doubt I'd been trying to erase since day one. I pressed my palms against my eyes, trying to hold it all together. The prenup would destroy everything. I've seen enough divorces in my family to know how these things go. Without it, a few years of marriage would set me up for life. But with it, I might as well go back to clipping coupons and living with roommates. Love isn't practical. That night, I promised him the fairy tale he so desperately wanted to believe in. Carl is a man of logic, but beneath that, he's also a romantic. His parents' rags to riches story has left him with a soft spot for the idea of love conquering all. I've spent months nurturing that weakness. My sister thinks I'm out of my mind, risking everything by resisting the prenup. "Just sign it, then work on changing it later," she advised. But she doesn't understand Carl the way I do. If he catches even a hint of doubt, he'll dig until he uncovers everything. The prenup had to go before it became a permanent issue, so I went with the nuclear option. Quiet withdrawal, long silences, staring at my ring with a tortured expression. It took Carl exactly 16 days to break. "I'm dropping the prenup idea," he declared last night. I buried my face in his neck, breathing in his expensive cologne. "Thank you for trusting me," I whispered. We ordered sushi and watched movies, like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. The close call with the prenup taught me some important lessons. I'd been too obvious in some areas and too subtle in others. Carl's defenses are down now, but one wrong move could bring them right back up. I need to speed up my plans. Nothing cements a marriage like a child. Carl's already dropped hints about starting a family. His mother is constantly asking when we'll give her grandchildren. A family with Carl wouldn't be the worst thing. He's kind, stable, and eager to prove his love. Our children would have trust funds, private schools, summer homes. I could quit nursing and focus on charity work. Just like his mom, I'd be the perfect society wife. Carl shifts beside me, and I curl into him, playing the role of the devoted fiancé. Even in his sleep, he pulls me closer, murmuring something about loving me. I close my eyes, feeling the weight of the ring on my finger. In a few months, it'll be joined by a wedding band. No prenup, no contingencies, no limits. "I love you too," I whisper into the dark. And in this moment, as moonlight paints shadows across our future, I almost believe it. I stand frozen behind the garden hedge, a paper plate hanging limply in my hand. Brianna's voice floats over from the patio, mixing with the sound of ice clinking in glasses and female laughter. "God, you should have seen his face when I cried about the prenup," Brianna slurs, her third glass of wine clearly taking effect. I swear, it was like I kicked his puppy. More laughter. My stomach churns. The burger I've been eating now tastes like ash. "But isn't he really sweet? He seems totally devoted to you," one of her co-workers, Wilma, says. "Sweet, stable, boring," Brianna replies with affectionate condescension. "But his money is definitely the best part of him. You should see his family's lake house. And Daddy's company is going public next year." The women lean in closer, and I should walk away. I should make my presence known, but my feet stay rooted in place as Brianna continues. "The prenup would have ruined everything but a few tears, some cold shoulders, problem solved." Ice clinks against glass. "Now, when things eventually go south, I'll walk away with enough to never have to work another night shift again." My chest tightens, and the sunny afternoon around me fades to a dull blur. 2 years of memories rush through my mind, each one twisting into something dark. Every late-night conversation, every surprise gift, every "I love you." Was it all part of the plan? A long con, just like I'd feared? What if he brings up the prenup again? A voice inside me asks. Brianna laughs sharply, her tone ringing clear. "Please, I've got him wrapped around my finger. Besides, once we're married and I'm pregnant, he won't dare rock the boat." The plate slips from my numb fingers and hits the grass with a soft thud. Someone calls my name across the yard, but I force my legs to move, circling wide around the patio to reach the side gate. "Babe!" Brianna's voice follows me. "Where are you going?" "Emergency at work," I call back, relieved at how steady my voice sounds. "I'll see you at home." The drive back is a blur. Seattle's familiar streets feel foreign, hostile. Every red light gives me more time to replay Brianna's words, to dissect every moment of our relationship through a new lens. I park in the driveway but can't bring myself to go inside. Our house, the one I bought last year, thinking we'd fill it with children someday, now feels contaminated by lies. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Brianna, coming home early. "Miss you already." The heart emoji makes me want to throw up. I should confront her. Demand answers, confront her now. The rational part of me screams for action, for consequences. But beneath the anger and betrayal, A smaller voice whispers, "What if you're wrong? What if the alcohol made her brag to fit in with her more cynical coworkers? What if she's just saying things she doesn't mean? What if there's still something real between you, something worth saving?" It's the same voice that convinced me to drop the prenup, the voice that wants to believe in fairy tales instead of facing the truth. My father's words echo in my mind. Trust is earned, son, but verify everything. I ignored his wisdom for love, or what I thought was love. Now, his caution doesn't sound like paranoia. It sounds like prophecy. I should just leave, pack a bag, call my lawyer, protect myself like I originally planned. Instead, I sit in my car, wondering how much longer I'll have to endure these lies before I can gather the courage to walk away. Because the hardest truth to accept isn't that Brianna betrayed me. It's that even now, knowing everything I do, part of me still wants to believe her. "We need to talk." Carl's voice interrupts the usual rhythm of our evening. I'm chopping vegetables for his favorite stir-fry when I pause mid-slice. "About what, babe?" I ask, trying to keep my tone neutral. "About what you said at the barbecue." My heart skips a beat. The carrots in front of me blur, and my pulse quickens, but I keep my voice steady. "I said a lot of things. Had a few too many glasses of wine." You dropped the act. The steel in his voice is unmistakable. I heard everything. The prenup, how my money is the best part of me, and your plan to walk away with everything. The knife falls onto the cutting board with a loud clatter as I slowly turn to face him. He's standing in the kitchen doorway, rigid, his eyes cold and unyielding. My usual tricks won't work this time. "You were spying on me?" I try to sound indignant, but it feels hollow. Eavesdropping on private conversations with my friends? Private conversations where you bragged about manipulating me and taking me for everything I've got. His words hit hard, each one a blow. "It wasn't like that," I say quickly, the tears beginning to flow easily. "We were just drinking, joking around. You know how Wilma and Jessica are. They always make everything about money. I was just trying to fit in by making fun of our relationship." His laugh is humorless. "So, what? Was any of it real, or was I just a mark?" My breath catches as his gaze lands on the watch. I scramble for control, but my words falter. "How dare you? After everything I've done for you. The long hours I've spent listening to you talk about work, all the family events I've attended. You mean all the networking you've done?" His voice drops, his tone sharper now. "The connections you've been building in case things go south? Stop twisting everything." I press my hands to my face, calling on more tears. "I love you, Carl. Whatever you think you heard." "I think I heard the truth." He cuts me off. "I've spent days convincing myself there was some innocent explanation, that maybe you were just showing off for your friends or having a bad day. But then I remembered the prenup. How perfectly you played me. The hurt, the withdrawal, the disappointment." His words crash over me like waves, each one harder than the last. "I watched you do the same thing just now, cycling through tears, anger, manipulation like flipping switches." Carl, I reach for him, but he steps back, his face hardening. "It's over, Brianna." 3 words. My carefully built future crumbles before me. "You can't mean that." I gasp. "We can fix this. We can go to counseling. I'll sign whatever prenup you want." Panic floods through me as I scramble for anything. "Pack whatever you can and leave right now. I'll have the rest ready by the weekend. This is insane. You're throwing away 2 years over one stupid conversation." He pauses at the door, eyes steady. "No. I'm finally listening to what you've been telling me all along. I was just too in love to hear it." The door clicks shut behind him. I crumple to the kitchen floor, the tears turning real now. Carl's car engine roars to life, and I hear it drive away, each sound like a finality. My phone buzzes with a text from him. "Coming home early. Miss you already." The heart emoji burns into my skin, the sharp sting making me want to throw up. I should go after him, confront her, demand the truth. But something keeps me rooted. A part of me whispers, what if I'm wrong? What if she was just bragging to fit in? What if there's still something real here? It's the same voice that urged me to let go of the prenup, the one that wanted to believe in love, even when the evidence screamed otherwise. My father's warning echoes in my mind. Trust is earned, son, but verify everything. I've ignored his wisdom for love, or what I thought was love. Now, his caution doesn't feel paranoid. It feels prophetic. The next morning, I try his office. Security stops me cold, telling me Carl left specific instructions. His phone goes straight to voicemail. My messages stack up unanswered. Please let me explain. I never meant to hurt you. I really do love you. Can we at least talk? My sister's text arrives like a slap. Congratulations, you blew it. You had one shot at never working another night shift, giving our kids the life we never had gone because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. She's right. I had it all mapped out. The wedding, the baby, the future. All gone because I couldn't hold back. I'm left with nothing. My old, cramped apartment with 3 roommates. Back to night shifts over time, and a reality I had hoped to escape. My sister's words echo again. You had one job. She's wrong. I had one chance at love, at happiness, whether real or manufactured. It doesn't matter now. I watch my future drive away in a Tesla, and I'll never see it again.